Powered by Sports Interaction, Canada Sportsbook.
Think you know what way it's going to go? Make your bet with Sports Interaction. Whether it's hockey, football, or basketball, Sports Interaction has you covered. Bet pregame, live, in play, or on one of our many prop bets. Sports Interaction makes it easy to deposit, play, and cash out. Join now and see all sports betting has to offer. Want to bet? Head to sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. That's sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. 19 plus, please play responsibly. All right, Oilers fans, welcome back to Game Over Edmonton. And you could already tell we got smiles on our faces. We're feeling good because the Oilers prevail against a real tough Tampa Bay Lightning team who played a little bit less than kosher tonight. Zach, what did you think about how the Lightning came up against the Oilers this game?
I am shocked by just how big and like abrupt crybabies the Lightning were. Oh my god. Like you'll never see me in my life been like, oh, that should be I've never thought to myself that should be an unsportsmanlike penalty. But oh my god, like Alex Killorn, when he was slamming his stick on the ice, demanding that the ref make a call or do something, and it wasn't even like an abrupt, like there was nothing obvious, at least to my eye watching it. I don't even know what he was yelling about. Nikita Kucherov 25 times, and sure, we're going to break down that play at the end of the first period that happened with him, but even towards the end of the game, like 5 feet in front of the official, as blatant as you can get, trips Brett Kulak, takes his feet right out from under him, and I think it was Warren Fogle or Puljujärvi or someone away from the play. They ended up getting like a phantom hooking call, right? I think it was Puljujärvi. It was Puljujärvi.
Puljujärvi had a real week. I think it was like a hooker / something super minor. But you're right. Kucherov just tripped Kulak, and a little hot mic moment as Kulak went down. Of course, Maroon, like something about ex-Oilers coming back to the city. Maroon was nasty. He was slew-footing like everyone tonight.
Well, they were playing it up in the warm-up that it was going to be something like, it was how heartwarming and how nice it was for that embrace in the warm-up of Evander Kane and Patrick Maroon. And wow, you can slit the guy's wrist, and 2 months later, you're the best of friends. Well, 10 minutes into the game, Patrick Maroon's slew-footing McDavid, Nurse and Kane are freaking out, taking on the entire Tampa Bay Lightning roster, and we'll break that down like in sequence because there's stuff I want to talk about specifically about that whole melee that ended the first period, because that was just insane. Like, I do not know what the rest of this entire game. This game to me was the most impressive victory far and away for the Oilers this season. I could not be more happy. This was by far the most fun game that they've played in. This was the most impressive game that they played in. Tampa Bay got every single break possible, every call you could possibly get. They got power plays when I don't know if they were necessarily deserved, and the Oilers got penalties, and I don't know if they were necessarily deserved. And sometimes they would look like they're taking a penalty, and all of a sudden it's an even-up call. I think they get 2 or 3 even-up calls this game. Like, how many coincidental minors can you call?
And it's wild that the makeup calls were kind of like, hey, man, like, you should call one on them as well, because they went down a little early. Like, refs were getting talked into decision.
That's fucking nuts. How does that happen?
When do you see someone just go like, yeah, no, I suggest you do this, and the refs go, you know what, you're right, I will change my mind.
Yeah,
it's wild.
It was fucking unbelievable. I was yelling that Warren Fogle embellishment was what a joke. Like, yeah, he I'm sure he swung his head back. Yeah. How many guys, like, it was embellishment. But if you're gonna call one, how is it the other? Like, how is it a penalty then if he's embellishing? You know what I mean?
That's always the question, right? It's like, if you actually caused a penalty, like if you high sticked a guy, if you hooked a guy, if you swung at a guy with your stick, like, you took a penalty. Embellishing is kind of just like, we don't feel like it was that bad, maybe, so we'll even it up. You guys can go 4-on-4 for a bit. But the worst is when the refs don't make the decision. It's Kucherov skating over, taking off his glove and going, no, he went down a little easy. And the refs going, you're right, I'm going to change my decision.
Like, Kucherov, the hold that he had on the ref's nuts tonight was I've never seen anything like it. How he was yelling and screaming and whining his ways into calls. I've never seen anything like it. It's indescribable. I can't even really put it into words, what I was feeling watching that.
Of course, the one like really big incident at the end of the first when Kane went into the boards, that was Kucherov, and he got away absolutely scot-free.
Yeah, so let's break that down. So Evander Kane, it's what, a 1-0 hockey game at this point? I
it was 2-0, I think.
2-0 at that point already. 2-0 at that point. Okay, I wrote my notes a little backwards here, but whatever. Anyways, Kane is standing there. It's 2-0. And what does Kucherov do? He comes into him and he cross-checks Evander Kane essentially in the numbers straight into the boards. Like, that is the most dangerous play you can make on an NHL ice surface. The only reason we're not talking about a serious injury is because Evander Kane is frankly a really solid guy, and he had enough body weight, and his center of gravity was low enough that he was able to withstand the force.
It's almost like Kucherov crumpling a little bit too, right? Instead of falling flat as a plank, he kind of crumpled into it with his core.
Yeah, and you just immediately your reaction. You see on the shot, you could see the stripes on the shirt, but you couldn't see the top half of the guy's body, and you see the arm go in the air. So you think, oh, penalty. Obviously, no, that was the linesman calling the play offside or delayed offside on the play. So then when it cuts to the wide angle and you see this melee ensue, you already assume that the penalty is going to Kucherov, right? And then all of a sudden they're like talking, and I guess a ref got injured a little bit before. I didn't actually see what happened.
I hope it's nothing major. I think it was the linesman that was doing the offside call. Some speculation is that he fell maybe on a skate or something.
Whatever.
So it's a tough one. I don't think it was a big deal because it seemed like they just ushered him off. Everything seemed okay. There was no big media avail after.
But anyways, so Kane goes immediately at Kucherov. The entire Lightning roster goes to hold Kane back, so he can't get in there. Zach Bogosian and Darnell Nurse start, they didn't really necessarily fight. They start like roughing. That's where the coincidentals come from. But you don't immediately know that. There was such a lack of clarity that those guys go to the box. You're like, what's going on? Okay. Oh, they're reviewing the play? Oh, okay. So maybe they're doing coincidentals there, and then Kucherov gets his 5-minute major. They're reviewing the play. All right. And they're conversing and they're reviewing, and it's taking forever. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? What the hell is going on? It made no sense. I'm like, and Louis didn't know on the broadcast either. No one knew. Everyone thought they were checking to see if that was a 5-minute major. Next thing you know, they go, Evander Kane, only 2 minutes for tripping? What?
It's wild, right? He's got an extra 2 for tripping because just the rough was not enough. Like, come on, are you kidding me? Like, the fact that Kane wasn't really instigating anything either, because when the little tussle started, he was on the ice, right? Yeah. He had to get back up.
He used his stick for leverage to push himself up off the ice, and I don't know who on Tampa Bay falls over his stick, and then creates even more chaos. But how you come away from that with Evander Kane getting the penalty is absolutely atrocious, and it was a theme that we saw obviously continue through the entire night. Now, the difference between the Oilers and the Lightning is, I believe here, just let me check. Oh man, my stats page closed. But I believe that Tampa Bay didn't get a power play goal tonight. I believe the Oilers' penalty kill was perfect, and Tampa Bay is the second best power play in the NHL. So that's really impressive. Another really good sign in a game of sea of positive signs today. So that was really good. But yeah, how they came away from that up made zero sense to me. That really, really, really drove me nuts. I want to hammer that home.
There's something about, because Tampa is full of vets, right? It's a team that is full of veteran players that have been in the league for a while, and we know that refs tend to lean towards older guys. They tend to go, hey, you know what? You paid your dues. Let's get you a little bit more.
This was a game of veteran calls for sure. This is a game of a team that went to the Stanley Cup final 3 times and a team that has only been to the Western Conference Finals. And you could clearly see that even in the demeanor. When Edmonton went up 2-0 and it started to get really chippy from Tampa before that happened, when you had the maroon shenanigans and whatever, you could kind of feel Edmonton's play slowly starting to get unbuttoned, and then obviously Tampa started to make them pay, right? Those shenanigans and those antics that can go on the game within the game, what Bob Stauffer likes to call the gamesmanship, that stuff still, the Oilers aren't necessarily one of the better. They're not great at handling that stuff. They're great at killing you on offense. And Tampa is obviously, they can kill you on offense. They have enough skill to go with any team in the NHL, obviously, but they also thrive on that gamesmanship. They are a way dirty. We only play them twice a year, and I feel like I say this every time, but they are just so much dirtier than you think. Like I saw in the chat, Rick Bucky says when Kucherov is mad, he turns into a weasel. And I just want to say, guys, before we continue, how many people are watching right now?
We have 63 live.
People watching live. How many likes? We only have 16 likes. Our like goal is 53 likes today. The Oilers won the game 5-3 yesterday. Or the last game was 52. Let's beat that. Let's smash that like goal. Everyone watching, go hit the like button. We appreciate you coming out here. It was the best game of the season, at least in my opinion. It was the most fun.
And just to let you know, it really helps the show grow, you guys. We're constantly trying to push new audiences, and the fact that we started this show going at like 30 odd viewers and now we're at 60, like that's amazing. That's all you guys pumping the likes, sharing with your friends. So it really helps the show out. And I see lots of cool familiar names in chat. MGD, Wise Kyle. Lots of comments about your stash, my man.
I know everyone loves my mustache. I can't get rid of the mustache as much as I want, as much as people around me want me to get rid of it.
You can't get rid of the stash. No way.
Well, we're on a 5-game heater now. There's no way it's coming off anytime soon. But yeah, no, a ton of people I don't recognize. Mike, Otto, Glenn. Rick, Bucky, thanks for joining us here tonight. Avery's in the chat. Like and subscribe if you enjoy the content, y'all. Alma's back. Yeah, what's up, guys? Smash that like button. And yeah, Dennis, what did you think later on in the game when the Oilers blew the lead and it was 3-3?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the first period, I thought the Oilers spectacular. This is a championship quality team. We held the puck for so long. Possession was in the Oilers' hands for a dominant amount of time. So many of Tampa's clearing attempts would go to our blue line, and it would just be intercepted by our offense or our defensemen and transition back the other way.
One of the best defensive periods, first and third, I should say, some of the best defensive periods the Oilers have put in this year. The zone denials, the denials of Tampa, their blue line, everything was grade A, perfect championship caliber hockey, like you said.
Yeah, and part of that is the actual guys playing right now. Of course, we did go 11-7 today. A couple of late changes. Janmark was supposed to play. He ended up being ill. Puljujarvi was in. And this is the sign, right? Like, Puljujarvi is not really like contributing offensively. He did have a goal in the last couple of games. I think it was 3 games ago. My memory needs a jog, but
yeah,
Puljujarvi is at least defensively not too much of a liability, right? How many years have we had teams where our third line, fourth line was just bleeding goals, and McDavid and Draisaitl are just trying to catch up? This is a very different team now. The way that they played in the first period makes me confident in actually saying the Oilers are a championship tier team.
Well, it's the tale of two teams this whole season, Dennis. This is why me and you can get so frustrated.
Until that second period.
Well, yeah, exactly.
That second period hit.
They fluctuate between like peak Jay Woodcroft hockey and then like basement Dave Tippett hockey. And there's no in between. There's no just, they didn't show up tonight. The Oilers are either running the Tampa Bay Lightning out of their building or they're getting blown out by the Anaheim Ducks. There's literally no in between with this team. It's such a season of highs and lows. And thank God, like we knew, just like Colorado, we knew that this team was capable of rattling off 5 wins in a row, and we're seeing that now, and no signs of them slowing down. I hope Woodcroft gets hard on them for the goals and the plays that they made in the second period here tomorrow at practice. Right, you want to keep the pedal to the metal. You want to keep going right into the All-Star break because there's some chances with the way Vegas and Seattle are going to really make up some ground in the Pacific here.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a couple of teams that are on cold streaks, and the Oilers have won 5 in a row. It's amazing, right? The other thing that I wanted to touch upon in between that first and second period, that's when we saw a lot of the fights break down, right? We saw
good call.
We saw like Nurse and Perry fight, which I want to get your stance. And chat, I want to get your opinion on this too.
Yeah.
Zach,
how
Nurse Perry.
That was the
should they have
stupidest
gone?
fight. No. Okay, sure. If Perry wants to get his ass beat, like all Perry did, how is that supposed to fire up your team? I saw in the bars, props to Corey Perry, does whatever he can to fire up his team. Bro, you stood there like what the offensive linemen used to practice in football. Like you literally were just a punching bag. You did nothing. You just stood there for 15 seconds. You made it look cool. You got a picture fighting Darnell Nurse, and then you fell to the ice. That was the most pointless, stupidest, like Jesse Puljujarvi's first fight where he didn't even get his gloves off was 20 times better than that. That was the stupidest, most pointless fight. Like Tampa, it was just so greasy, every move. And the fact that they're getting props for it too just made no sense. That was garbage. Then the following period, I'm sure you're going to ask about this next.
I want to touch on that.
Okay.
Because I think Corey Perry actually did a really good job. He disabled the Oilers' number one defenseman for 5 minutes.
If you ask a lot of people, Dennis, if you ask a lot of people, Corey Perry did the Oilers a favor. I'm not sure you saw some of those giveaways Darnell Nurse had in the game, and it didn't cost him again. He got lucky. Jack came up huge many times. I think this is also Jack's best game as an Oiler. Like I do agree. The number, just based on that alone, on the number of grade A chances that Tampa got, like at the beginning of the second period, in the first 3 minutes, Tampa came up with 3 grade A chances, and he stopped all of them. The only goal they got was that Cirelli goal on the rebound, and Jack almost stopped it. He was lights out tonight. Like, this is what you paid him $5 million to do.
Honestly, I think the Harry fight did have consequences, because during the time when Darnell Nurse was in the box, Tampa Bay Lightning got a goal. Right? Mm-hmm. Hagel, it was a little bit of a tough one to pin on Campbell. He's just in a bad position off of a save already. Hagel just chops it past him. It's tough to really pin that one on Soup. But at the same time, if you have your number one defenseman, our guys not sliding around as much, that's maybe where I can see value for Perry taking that fight. Of course, he didn't try at all. Like you said, he just tried not to get hurt.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that is very true. I just want to find Philip Broberg here. Is he only played 12 minutes this game? Is that accurate? That ice time that I'm looking at?
Honestly, yeah. Broberg, like here's the situation, right? Like with Vincent Desharnais joining the lineup, mm-hmm. I think Woody has balanced the D out.
He definitely has.
He's done a great job of that.
Yes.
Like everyone's going at about 20-ish minutes. The lower pairing guys about like 15, and then third pairing guys around 10. Mm-hmm. One of the things I'm still a little bit cautious about is when you're playing 11 and 7, you are working your forwards a little bit harder. And on a night like tonight, Costin only played 9 minutes. Puljujarvi played a team low 6 minutes, 51 seconds.
Yeah.
You're really riding a couple guys. Obviously, McDavid, 23 minutes, Draisaitl, 22.
Yes. If the one thing I want to touch on when you're talking about like the number one, the top defensive pairing, like we need to give respect. And I honestly would play them more than this. So like 12 minutes shocked me because it was essentially low. Philip Broberg and Evan Bouchard controlled 92% of the expected goals when they were on the ice for the Edmonton Oilers. They dominated the Tampa Bay Lightning. Like, that is no joke. Every time they were on the ice, something positive was happening for the Oilers, and the Lightning were getting quite literally nothing. Like, they have been so effective over these past 5 games. Like, they need to run with this pairing. And Nurse played, I think it was almost 24 minutes tonight, if not a bit more. I would lower those minutes. Like, Broberg is easily capable of playing 15, 16 minutes at least. You want to run with him. You want to see what this pairing can give you in tougher quality minutes, because this was a playoff game tonight. It felt intense. It felt fast. It was hard. It was emotional. Full disclosure, this was the most pumped up I've been for an Oilers game in a long time. Because, like, yeah, you beat, I said this, bless him. You beat Anaheim, you beat San Jose, whatever. Beating Vegas is cool. It's fun. But, like, beating Tampa like that, that's a statement victory at the tail end, like not the tail end. Hopefully this winning streak goes on for longer, but right in the middle of that 5 game, right at a 5-game winning streak. So yeah, it was so much fun to see. And we got to give those guys credit where it's due, because they are contributing. This was a win. Like, if you, and again, I know plus minus isn't very accurate, and I'll check the expected goals in a second, but if you look at plus minus tonight, like I know the Oilers got a power play goal, but McDavid -2, Draisaitl -2. This was a game where the depth kind of won them again, right? You had a goal from Hyman when McDavid or Draisaitl wasn't on the ice. For Fogle with the only assist. You had a goal from Ryan McLeod early in the game to pick things off. Draisaitl comes on the power play, and then obviously at 3-3, you have the game breaker. And like this is just Dennis. We said this each time the Oilers have won the last 4 games, now 5. This is a team victory. Top to bottom, every single person contributes. When someone isn't picking up their weight there, someone else makes up for it. So the Oilers came through so well in that regard tonight, and I'm thoroughly impressed. And we should expect so much from this team, man.
Yeah, like here's what I kind of highlighted earlier on, right? Can't remember if it was on camera, off camera. Derek Ryan had 14 minutes and 40 seconds of ice time. Derek Ryan has been playing so well.
Yeah, and it's not like a Devon Shore 14 minutes ice time, right?
Where
by the way, I was dancing on when I saw that he went down to the AHL today.
I was gonna say, were you feeling it?
Happy day. Oh man, this day, Oilers victory. Devon Shore in the AHL couldn't go any better.
A conditioning stint though.
Yes,
he's still on the cap.
He's not here, and that's all that matters. But yeah, no, Derek Ryan, those 14 minutes, like if you could tell me that Kyler Yamamoto was wearing that jersey, the Ryan jersey. Like, he was playing tenacious. He was playing fast. He's doing everything he has to do. His puck skills seem to have gotten significantly better. I thought Klim Kostin was really noticeable. He takes, I like that he shoots from distance. I like that he gets the puck on net. I like that he has the confidence to hold on to the puck and make a move in the neutral zone in transition into the Lightning zone. Like, every single guy from top to bottom. One thing that I was going to touch on before, we want to talk about the Klim Kostin fight with Patrick Maroon, right?
Fight, yes.
Yeah, so Maroon's a big guy. Maroon is a big guy.
A big rig.
In chat, Derek Ryan, former U of A Golden Bear legend. Anyways, yeah, Patrick Maroon, big guy. Looked to me a little bit out of Klim Kostin's weight class, right? But obviously Kostin is who your heavyweight is. I said on the broadcast, Kane can't fight. He's not fighting until at least after the All-Star break. But anyways, I was a little nervous for Kostin. We've all seen Maroon fight before, and he can feed him. And it started off very similar to the Nurse Perry fight, but then Kostin started getting those jabs and those close to Maroon's face, and you could see that pissed off Patrick Maroon. He got some good clean shots. I'd say the best shot in that fight was got by Klim Kostin. That's how you fire up your team. That's how you get it back. Not what Corey Perry did.
Well, the issue is, if you look at that fight, right? Kostin taking that fight was not really trying to gussy up the boys, right? Because at that point you're up 2-0. He took that fight because Maroon is running rampant. He's slew-footing guys. He's just being an absolute nonce, right? Yeah. So you take him out. You say, hey, you sit for 5, I'll sit for 5. And let's be honest, right? Like, Kostin knows what he is. He's a third line type of guy, right? He's famously said, I'm not 97, I'm 21, all right? Yeah. So he'll go and take that. He'll sit, and it's fine if he's taking out another player that's annoying his team. That's what I love to see.
Well, it just was so weird at the beginning. I didn't even expect it, because it seems like Patrick Maroon is notably a good friends with Connor McDavid, right? Like, I remember when Patrick Maroon, Cam Talbot, Connor McDavid, and I think there was one other player, went down to Cabo for like the bye week, right? Like, it was so it was so unexpected. You see him take the hooking call in the first, or the trip, or whatever it was, the little slew foot. And
on McDavid, right?
Yeah, on McDavid.
Yeah, that one was
McDavid
nasty.
Falls, and then all of a sudden he just smashes his stick over Connor's back, and Connor gets up and goes at him. And then you see, like, when Leon scored on the power play right after, like 9 seconds after that goal go in. Yeah, exactly. Leon just glares at him. Maroon probably still has like burnt hair on, like, I don't know. He's got holes in his face from that stare. That would hurt.
Well, because we know Draisaitl loves getting into it, but he's not the guy that's going to be punching guys out. He was actually holding McDavid back, saying, hey, like, let's not engage into the pile, right? During that little scrum in the beginning when Maroon was chopping at McDavid, he was the one saying, hey, we shouldn't do it. Let's sit back. Let's let them go. We're up like 1-0.
Yeah, exactly. And then you just had the Lightning. It was a theme with them just so pissy. I've never
Yeah.
seen like they literally looked like they were a toddler and you took their toy away and they were throwing temper tantrums. I've never seen the players' faces turn so red. Even at the end of the game, right? Like it's garbage time. You took a stupid ass penalty. It was like the NBA game. I've never seen a player try and run out like 35 seconds on the clock. Like, what are you doing?
But
Stamkos?
that's here's the thing, right? With Stamkos, you take a call. You're already down 2-0, like by 2 goals.
Yeah.
It's the second game of a back-to-back. Everyone is gassed. He's the captain in that situation. He goes, "No, we're calling it here."
Yeah,
like I can respect
get it,
that.
but it's one thing if there's 5 seconds or 10 seconds. There was almost 40 seconds on the clock, and he's just standing. And I was like, "All right, I'll let you kill." But like, you just quit, man. Like how like we've seen like and I know that it's very unlikely, and obviously every fan, and if I was the Oilers, I would have given up too. But if you're paid like that to be the captain of that team, I don't want to see you with over like closer to a minute left in the game than not, right? Just giving up. How many we've seen goals scored with 4 or 5 seconds left. We've seen 2 goals in under a minute. Why couldn't you have done that? That was embarrassing, I thought. I didn't like that. And then at the end, when the Oilers are on the power play, Broberg almost scored. And you see Nick Paul and Brandon Hagel start to shit themselves. Like, what are you doing? And Mike says Tampa seemed mad. Throughout the game, there was something wrong with them.
They were definitely mad. But at that point, if you're Steven Stamkos, you look at it and you go, okay, we are a very tired team. They've been on the road for a while.
Yep.
We're down 2 goals. We're going to be down a man. Like shorthanded, can we score 2 goals shorthanded in a minute? Maybe. But what's the more likely thing to happen is we have our penalty killers out there. They take an errant block shot or something like that, and we end up having an injury. Maybe someone ends up going day to day or something like that. Forget it. Like, I'm going to calm. No one else on the team can do that. If it was like Kucherov doing that, they probably wouldn't be able to get away with it without a little bit of a let's say argument inside the locker room. But it's your captain. It's Stamkos. He knows the bigger picture. No, forget it. We're just going to run the clock.
Says in the chat, it was the 3rd game in 4 nights for Tampa. And I do get that. But to me, like,
you don't want to see it because it's not a good product on the ice, right?
No, like the
NHL is a show.
There is just more to it. Listen, it's not my team. Like they did it against the Oilers. So at the end of the day, I don't care. But I just thought like every antic from Tampa was just a little bit cheap tonight. Like there's one thing to have gamesmanship and fight, and you throw a hard hit and you get the tensions up. But it was like it was cheesy. It was cheap. They were hitting guys in dangerous ways. They were taking guys' feet out. There were slew foots left and right from Pat. 2 slew foots in 1 game. Patrick Maroon. It was garbage.
He like, here's the weird thing, right? The fact that Maroon was getting so chippy, he was like the only guy that was getting actually called for it. Like the refs were actually calling Maroon's BS.
Maroon could have been called for more. Like he should have gotten 2 penalties on that first play for cross-checking and tripping. He should have gotten more. But at the end of the day, again, the Oilers won. So I shouldn't sit here and complain about the refs too much. I thought Fogle had a great game. One of the funniest plays in the game to me was Fogle like made a great move, set him so like was like had a prime opportunity 15 feet out in the 3rd period for just a great shot on Vasilevsky, and he like deked out himself, fell on his butt, and then the puck goes back. Tampa is like a 3-on-2. Then you all of a sudden 5 seconds later, Warren Fogel's a breakaway somehow, and they almost dekes out Vasilevsky and just shoots the puck wide. He was
trying to emulate on his first attempt. He was trying to emulate what he did last time. He's like, last time I ended up sitting on my butt.
I don't know how I've never seen someone with like such seemingly good hands, but the puck just causes them so many issues. I don't understand what kind of hockey player Warren Fogle is, but he had an awesome game tonight. He had a huge assist in the Zach Hyman goal, which was obviously crucial in not letting Tampa Bay back in the game when they did. And also, Braden Point, disgusting, by the way. Like, I got to give props to him for sure on Tampa. He made Darnell Nurse look stupid on a number. And CC
just blew past him for that tying goal.
Yeah,
I think it was the tying goal.
Both CC and Nurse did not look good on both those goals. Yeah. But yeah, no, here, just quickly before we got 65 people watching now. Our like goal is 53 likes. Like, come on, guys. We got to hit 53. The score was 5-3. Thank you for joining us tonight. It's an awesome game. We talked about that goal. What we do need to talk about, and I don't think we talk about him enough. We always say this, but that goal, that 4-3 goal early in the 3rd, what a game changer. What a privilege it is to have that on your team. The grin on my face could have ended me up, could have put me in the loony bin. I felt insane. That was some of the most disgusting. It wasn't even his best goal by any means. Like, he had a better play when he stripped Hedman for the puck and got the breakaway on Vasilevsky, and Vasilevsky poke checked him earlier. But like, to me, that is just such a game breaker. That is why he's one of the best players in NHL history. No one in the league could ever do that. I don't want to hear your reason that Jack Hughes should be MVP because his GSVA save plus X5 game score is better than McDavid. Like, shut up. That is the best player in the world for the last 5 years and 10 years.
You'll look at that goal. They've showed it like 2 or 3 times on the broadcast, right? And every time I looked at it, I just kept saying, how did that even go in? Like, he drove to the net. McDavid drove to the net and just willed the puck in.
I didn't think it was going in because it's Vasilevsky too. Like, Vasilevsky, like, he made some really good saves tonight. It wasn't his best game ever, probably not.
He's having a little bit more difficult of a season.
The Oilers also kind of own Andre Vasilevsky randomly. Like, I don't understand it. He's literally one of the best goalies in NHL history. But the
Oilers will chase the best goalies, but they will lose to a third string goalie who's playing his first NHL game.
He's actually been good this year.
Yeah, he's been good.
Rant about him, but no, that goal to me, that is peak Connor McDavid. It's not the nicest goal he's ever scored, but the timing, it's all with him. He's developed like it used to be all about the speed and the flash, and it still is with him. Every goal he scores,
well, in the hands,
but
right?
With him in the playoffs, you need someone to come up big, it's Connor. When you need a goal late, it's Connor. It's always Connor. He is the captain of this team. He's the best player in the world by a country mile, lap the field, not close, hasn't been close since 2015-16. We can never give him enough credit. I become complacent watching Connor McDavid. I'll have 5 points. We'll mention it once on the show.
Yeah, like, right? This is we're spoiled. Essentially, we're like spoiled children, but we won't throw a hissy fit.
There's a reason why you see photoshops of him every day in 31 different NHL jerseys, right? Oh, he's gonna leave Edmonton. He's gonna leave Edmonton, maybe, but we've got to watch him for the last however long, and he's here for at least 4 more years or 3 years and the rest of this one. So
everyone wishes that they could get Connor McDavid.
No one understands. Everyone watches him when they play their team. They don't understand the true greatness. They see Tage Thompson score this, their score that. McDavid got his 39th goal in 47 games. He's going to get 70 goals. Like,
easy. He's going to get 70 easy. We were saying 60 in the beginning. He's gonna get 70. He's gonna be at like 130 something points. Like, he's insane.
I want 70. I want 70 just as much as I want that Nuge 100. Like, oh, what a fantastic play from him. And another thing, I just want to give Woodcroft a little bit of credit. Later in the game, it seemed like earlier in the game, Kane, McDavid, and Draisaitl were coming on together with Kane or Hyman as a winger. And then in that third period, when they went to break it down defensively, he did what I said a couple games ago. He broke them up, and he just had 3 really solid lines, and then I guess 4 combinations of wingers, 3 really solid centers. And the Oilers, how many shots did they even allow in that third period? Like 4 or 5 from Tampa. Like, some of the best defensive hockey I've seen. And they did get lucky. And Jack, I don't want to understand how good Jack played. Like, there's so many positives to me, Dennis, in this game.
Look, Jack was again over 900. That's all we want. He's 903 tonight. And Vasilevsky on the other side, 879. Like, yeah. He outdueled him.
The Oilers' depth was better than Tampa's. The Oilers' stars were better than Tampa's. The Oilers' goalie was better than Tampa's. The Oilers' team defense was better than Tampa's, and that's why they won. And their composure, frankly.
And this goalie isn't even the one that's going to the All-Star game.
Yeah, I was just what a transition. I was going to be better than I was going to do. Wow. I tweeted it during the game. The Edmonton Oilers have drafted a goalie who was born in Edmonton, Alberta, and is now an NHL All-Star in his rookie season. What a story. What an awesome thing for Stuart Skinner. Becomes a dad like just under a week ago, and now he's off to the NHL All-Star game. When I like seeing Leon and Connor go to the All-Star game, I'm like that emoji with just a straight line on my face. Like, I who cares? Seeing Stuart Skinner go to the All-Star game, again, similar smile to when Connor McDavid scored that goal. Just absolute elation. No one deserves it more than Stuart Skinner. He's been fantastic. He's the reason the Oilers even have the record that they do when Campbell was falling. Thank God Campbell's getting back. And Yeah, man.
What a
So
week too, right?
happy. What? Yeah, what a week. It's been, everything's coming up stew.
Yeah, everything's coming up, Stu. And here's what I love to see, right? Like in earlier in the morning, I think it was Ryan Rashog from TSN posted a quick little clip of all the Oilers gathering, and you saw guys smothering and like tapping each other on the helmets. And you wondered, what's going on there? Like, no one actually knew that it was the All-Star Game announcement. But you had a couple clues, because Leo was on the edge of the circle and a couple of guys like gave him a little helmet rub. But the main focus was Stuart Skinner. And you love to see that, even though Campbell's on a bit of a heater, they're going back and forth for games played now. But you love to see the camaraderie, like everyone jumping in, congratulating him first for being a father. And then the second for going to the All-Star game. Like, that is amazing. And I am so happy that as an Edmontonian who's watched the Oilers for a long time, watched them have to import talents from different places, guys who are maybe getting a little bit up there in age. It's worked. It's also kind of fizzled out for us at times. Mm-hmm. But now we have a bona fide number one goaltender in Stuart Skinner. He's going to be the number one for years to come, and I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, we got 75 people watching right now. We only have 51 likes, 76 now. If you'd hit that like button, it was an awesome night. Huge smile on my face. Got goosebumps thinking about Stu going to the All-Star game. I could talk about that McDavid goal forever. That what an awesome game. What an awesome night. Last thing we kind of forgot to mention during the show. One thing I also want to say, Vincent Desharnais he has a really typical shot. It's a very soft wrist shot that seems to find its way through. 81 people watching live right now. He's Vincent Desharnais, really soft, really good wrist shot. He's got 3 assists in his first 5 NHL games. He is legit. He is real. He is absolutely right. Like, there's now a logjam on the right side. Like, they could keep this left side realistically and get rid of one of Cody Ceci or Tyson Barrie. Cody Ceci's probably been the worst defender this year, to be honest.
It's been so strange, right? Like, we ripped on Tyson Barrie so much, and then you pair him with Kulak, and suddenly he's doing good. He's one of the most like steady defensive guys where it's just, you know what to expect out of him. But to go back to it, Vincent Desharnais is such an interesting player because nothing about what he does really screams out at you on the ice. You just see a big hulking like 6-something guy. On Tampa's smaller forwards, I'm just gonna say real quick, Tampa's smaller forwards, he was so effective. They could not establish a cycle when he was on the ice. Yeah. He broke everything up and clears the front of the net like an absolute boss. Anyway, sorry, you were saying. No, like the fact that he is just this big, rangy defender. He doesn't do any highlight reel sort of like diving things to take away pucks. He's just steady.
Straight lines.
And that's what we need. Straight lines. You see him deny some zone entries. You see him block some passes with his giant range of motion on the stick. You see him knock guys out of the crease because he's a Hulk. And that's all we really need. Like the shot, like you mentioned, especially the one that McLeod tipped home, like that's not a outrageous like 90-something mile per hour slapper.
It was perfect.
He's just a solid, nice little shot.
In like 3 minutes before that goal went in, he had another wrist shot that almost bounced its way into the net, right? Like he is a really good now. I'm very, very, very impressed with his puck skills. Like he has been like, he is what we hoped Marcus Niemelainen would be. He is awesome. And Mike in the chat, I want to see Vinny in a fight. Oh man. And then Matt Dumba for Jesse Puljujarvi trade just happened per TSN. I don't know. Are they pulling my leg there? In the chat, are they pulling my
all right, well, if you are, you got me. I will pull it up real quick. Zach, you keep everyone entertained for a quick second.
Okay, let's check the chat here because that might be garbage, but I don't know. Mike, I want to see Vinny in the chat. MGD RNH is really the key to the Oil PP. Last year when he was hurt, the power play drops. You're right. He is such a good facilitator on the special teams. He might be mediocre 5-on-5. This year he's been a lot better 5-on-5, but holy crap, is Ryan Nugent-Hopkins insane. He's a top 10 player in the NHL on the power play. Do you see anything on Twitter there? Let's see.
Yes, Eric.
Did I get
got
pranked?
us.
Yeah,
you got us.
Pranked. Okay, Wise Cow. Tyler at Nation Network called it first. I'm sure he does. Tyler calls everything. Eric Tanner, it's all thanks to the stash, and some more stash love in the chat. Travis Saunders, last time we did it, Grant Fuhr, so true. Maybe Stuart Skinner kind of plays a bit like Grant Fuhr, you know? After that third goal, he just decides he's not letting any more. He's a baby Mike Smith, maybe without that fire.
He ain't got the old man strength yet, but it'll come.
Yeah, man. Chat's been bumping. Black Mascara showed up for a bit. Our German friend, thank you so much for popping in. Clay Drew, I don't know if that's legit. I'm gonna check after. I'd be pretty disappointed because Matt Dumba's been pretty bad this year.
No,
I would rather them just clear the cap.
It's not real.
Okay, yeah, because
I'm refreshing Twitter because TSN didn't have anything.
More people Twitter. Would be saying. More people. I got pranked hard. Full credit to you, to be honest. Good one. Mateo.
And this is why it's fun to be a live show, right? If you're an audio listener listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, we do these live shows after every Oilers game. And, we're so thankful for everyone watching live. We started off the show, it was like 20, 30 people. Now we're at 74 watching live.
Here we go in the chat. Clager says, my uncle was the linesman who got hurt. He is all right. Cut his palm, got stitches, will be out for a few weeks. Just thought I'd let you all know he's Edmonton born and raised. Well, thank you for popping in and saying that. Dennis and I both Dennis more than I, but both of us hope that he's okay. Dennis said something really nice about him earlier in the chat. So that's awesome here. Thank you for popping in and saying that. Mateo's also brand new. There's so many new people to the last couple shows. It's been awesome to see.
Yeah, it's just fantastic to see the show grow. I mean, the easiest way is the simplest way. It's liking the podcast, sharing it with your friends. It helps us grow our viewer base, and the algorithm, that's how we hit the YouTube algorithm. It picks up our show and recommends it to more Oilers fans.
Absolutely.
We love to see you in chat. If you are an audio listener, hopefully you could catch us for one of these live shows, maybe a matinee game or two. I know it's a little bit difficult, especially if you're off in the East Coast.
We hit the like goal.
We hit the like goal.
For telling us. Yeah, and they're at 55 now. Thanks, everyone.
Hey, love you all so much. Thank you for supporting the show. I guess we have to start wrapping it up here because
Adam's gonna kill us.
Adam, our notorious boss.
He doesn't
Adam
like
Wilds.
shows that go over 30 minutes, and Dennis and I routinely can hit an hour. So yeah, it's so. Once the chat starts going, and you break down all your points earlier, I could go for 2 hours and whatever. Especially right now, because we know in 3 months I'm gonna be red hot about something, and I just want to enjoy the moment.
You know what? This is the biggest thing. I have really come to appreciate the fact that we can sit down after a game and just talk, whether it's venting or expressing how happy we feel like today's game. I don't know how I'm going to cope in the off season, man. Like you better stay in contact, Zach.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to have to do game over NHL 23.
Yeah, exactly. We'll do a couple of sim seasons.
Let's end on this comment in the chat from Mick Nader. Super nice comment. Really appreciate you joining us. Really appreciate you being here and saying this. As an Oilers fan, this show is my therapy.
Thank you all so much for being here, man. It means the world to hear that you're having a good time. Next game is against Vancouver. It'll be an 8:00 Mountain puck drop, and Zach, you're going to be doing that one solo.
Yep, it's Dennis's mom's birthday, so I've got the call that night. I hope everyone could join me, but I get it. It's Saturday night, so we'll see.
It's hockey day. It's hockey day in Canada. Hopefully, you guys, after all the games, after all a day of hockey watching, you'll feel like you want to have a little bit more and hop onto the chat with Zach.
Exactly.
All right.
Wise Kyle, enjoy the game. That's it for Dennis and I. The Oilers win 5-3 over the Tampa Bay Lightning. I will see you next show. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you very much. And
play La Bamba, baby.
Good night.
Game over! Powered by Sports Interaction, Canada Sportsbook.